Welcome to episode 12 of the Toffee TV podcast. With me, Ped, Baz to the right of me, Andy to the left of me.
Stuck in the middle with you.
Yeah, there was a joke somewhere. I was just waiting for someone to pick it up.
I tried.
Well, that's good.
God, the positivity's actually coming out of this again.
Feels low.
I'm positive.
It feels low.
Like, hey, chat. No, don't say that.
Like what? I don't even know where he's going.
I don't.
What?
Yeah, nothing. Go on.
Hiv.
Yeah, we're positive.
Hiv positive.
Okay.
Piv positive.
I mean, this is a fantastic, great start to the podcast.
You know, we got through to the next round of the cup. It's a major plus. Let's be honest. Like, at the end of the day, if we were out, we'd be smashing the mics on them. Well, you probably wouldn't let me, but we'd be kicking off.
I don't know. The red men bought them.
Even though the
smash away,
we still need.
Even though the performance wasn't great, you're still happy that we're through at the end of the day because. You can imagine the absolute hellfire storm it would be on Twitter in general if we were out. Like, the world would be burning.
Do you think the same people who kick off are the same people who say, I'd rather we lose, and he gets sacked?
I've not seen anyone say that I want us to lose. And maybe I missed them and I don't follow these people, but I can't believe that anyone would ever want Everton to lose.
They're normally retweeted onto my feed rather than actually being people I follow.
Right.
So...
But are they really Everton fans if you want us to lose? It's like when you go, I want us to lose against Liverpool. Don't be wrong, it's a favourable result if you're not losing against Liverpool, so lose against Man City. It's favourable results if they win the league and all that, but didn't they need Everton to win? If it was seeing the difference between us getting fourth and Liverpool winning the title, I'd take.
But then I suppose some people who feel like that will be ones that have made their mind up that, particularly at the moment, that say Marco Silva's not the right man, they want him out the club as quickly as they can and we can move on. Because people have that. People have that, don't they, where they go, I just want the end of it.
For them, I would say it's inevitable. It's probably going to happen anyway. Just ride with it.
Well, we'll talk more about that in part two. Let's keep our powder dry on that one.
Spirits up.
And the spirits up. We're nearly there.
Yeah, nearly there. It's nearly time for Christmas.
It's nearly die hard time, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
Well, it will be October, November, as long as it's not around Christmas, because
it's
like, isn't a Christmas film, so there you go.
Literally a Christmas film.
Literally not a Christmas film.
Christmas Eve.
Jingle All the Way is about Christmas.
That's about Arnold Schwarzenegger pretend to be American.
Trying to get it.
Doesn't he pretend to be American in every film?
Have you noticed that his accent is now getting back more and more Austrian? Like,
yeah,
it's gone back. It's weird.
He's reverting. He's had enough.
I think I was going to say it might be something to do with something else, but
yeah,
nearly time for diet. Anyway, 2 games this week. Obviously, starting with Saturday, Brighton Hove Albion, and that thing that happened down there. Well, it's not just VAR though, is it? Just
the lack of belief of the players that they can see out the results ever. Yeah, that's another one. That's the tail of that game. Is you go, VAR, we get robbed, no doubt about it. But then you think the players are just so weak. It's embarrassing.
Are you talking about the team's mentality or Jordan Pickford's wrists?
But chocolate wrist one. I don't want to get into Jordan Pickford because I'll go on a rant. But you know,
get into a rant.
I'm not going to start ranting. I just it's coming to a time where we've had him for nearly 3 seasons. We've had him 3 seasons now, and it's just where's the 3 and a bit seasons? Where's the improvements in his decision making and concentration levels? I know he's still relatively young for a keeper. He's 25, 26, isn't he? But if he ever wants to be world class, or if we ever have hopes of him being world class, if he ever wants to move, I don't know if his ambition, he wants to move to a perceived top club, then he's not to sort it out, because at the moment he's just got major flaws in his game now. Great shot stopper, great reaction saves, but just consistency, it's just not there. He'll have 5 or 6 really good games for us, and then he'll cost us 3 points. You just can't have it as a goalkeeper.
Well, she was a great shot stopper for that free kick.
Well, he's now that's starting talking now. Is he turning to Joe Hart because everything's going under him, or he's not getting there? It's weird, but yeah, that was just awful. And that again, too many times you go, Pickford, is that fault for the goal? That's said too often at Everton, unfortunately.
It's frustrating because particularly the Brighton goal, he puts that hole in the wall so we can see the ball, and then it goes past him, which was just so odd, because he made a save in the Watford game, which was very similar shot, and he got his hands behind it and showed what he can do, and it is that decision making. I don't know whether it's anticipation or whatever, but for me he's a top keeper, but he's not gonna be a top keeper if he can't get any consistency in his game.
What's the difference? People go, Liverpool's Sansa was put the points back, and he's better goalkeeper than Mingele, of course, but they Sansa Mingele because he's making 20 saves because they're facing 40 shots a game. But when you're only facing quality shots as your big side, because they don't let that many through, your concentration levels need to be peak. And that's the problem with Pickford. His concentration levels aren't peak, whereas Alisson is not as spectacular as Pickford in any single way, shape or form. But he's concentrating constantly. He does make mistakes, of course, but that's the difference. Edison, not as flashy as Pickford in terms of his saves, but his concentration is always there. He's always consistent, and that's why them two are the best two keepers in the league, and why Hugo Lloris is also like Pickford, who's just crazy man.
Yeah, it is weird.
No, that's a good point. It is a good point, that, because I think we've seen early on in his Everton career, we might have seen a couple of these, and then you sort of let them go, and
he's a young keeper. And
then as it goes, I think he's a young keeper, and then as it goes on, you sort of see a pattern in it, though. Like, it is the concentration, it is just completely switching off. It is just not paying attention to what's going on, or thinking, I've got this dealt with. Where other goalkeepers, like you just said, I'm not saying aren't as good, because they're clearly better, because or they might be able to make saves Jordan Pickford can make, but
they're in the right position.
They can always make.
I think they put themselves in best positions. I think Edison and Alisson put themselves in positions to make good saves look easier because they're in the right position. Pepe Reina was famous for it. You could never say Pepe Reina was the most flashy goalkeeper, but he was just in the right place at the right time all the time. And he was a smaller keeper. He wasn't that tall. He wasn't that tall. I expect more from Pickford. If we're ever going to be a top 6 team, you need to have a top goalie.
I think the other side of it as well is, though, it's building a presence about yourself where you're feared as a goalkeeper. Like, someone fears they can't beat you because you always seem to be in the right place at the right time. And you're right about the top 2 keepers in the Premier League. You feel like they don't have that many mistakes in them because they just get things right. And Jordan Pickford, sadly, I think it's one of those things where other fans of other clubs sort of have been seeing that for a while, or maybe you've been picking up on a couple of mistakes, but when you look through blue tinted glasses, you don't always see that. But to me, recently, it's becoming more and more evidence of the mistakes he's making.
I don't want to dig him out because he's not one of the. I wouldn't call him a weak link in the side, because he's saying not to blame for where Everton are at the moment, but it's a very important position, and we've had our defensive issues over the last couple of years, and unless the defence is really confident in its goalie making those decisions, sometimes for them, then it causes that doubt, doesn't it? That doubt then causes mistakes, and we've seen that a couple of times, the last couple of years. The Zuma Pickford thing last season against Spurs, which was just a nightmare. That's as a result of them being unsure of the confidence in the goalkeeper getting it, or the different centre back getting it. That's the issue, but that's just one part of Saturday. Obviously we got back into the game, didn't we? But then all that happened, didn't it?
Well, that's it, isn't it? We get back in the lead. We get back in the game. We start playing the better football. We take the lead, and with 15 minutes to go, you're just thinking, right,
see the game out.
Get a bit of game management in there. See the game out. Don't do nothing stupid. And of course, the VAR situation is
atrocious.
It's
not been brought up, though. It's really that Arsenal one is all over everywhere. Because Calum Chambers is in, but the Everton ones, because David Geiger said it was a pen, whatever. Thanks, Dermot, whatever.
And Richarlison's wasn't, he said.
That was pathetic as well.
Which was nonsense. So
you can't. That's a whole, obviously, a long conversation. But as I said on Twitter, there's enough money in the Premier League. Go and get the best referees in the world. I just think it's the most money in the world in the league. I'm not accusing anyone. It's rife for bribery. Let's be honest. It's the biggest money league in the world. It's rife, and there's decisions which just don't make sense at all in any way. And if you look at Lee Mason's record against Everton,
that was the thing, isn't he? He's given 9 penalties against Everton. Which have cost Everton runs, and on Saturday he done it from a business park in Milton Keynes or whatever it was.
And you can just, do you know what? It's like the Nias thing, which has never ever cropped up again. By the way, that rule went out the window. Everton always get done with these things. I remember someone saying that someone submitted that when Andy Johnson couldn't get a pen. And that's if he was hacked down in the box or not. We submitted the package to the FA. Everton probably should do that again, because you're not going to get fair decisions unless you put. That's what Ferguson was great at. Before the games, he put pressure on referees and they give decisions for Man United. Everton need to be one of those teams that gets the referees fear giving pens against, or fear not giving pens against.
How come Palace get pens every week?
Zaha
gets kicked everywhere.
I remember
showed us Richarlison.
Well, he throws himself to the floor.
I remember Neville Southall getting done for holding the ball for 6 seconds against Nottingham Forest, and they scored and they won the game. So, I mean, whoever ever seen a goalie getting done for 6 seconds?
He brought in the 7-second rule. No one ever got done for it. They were just running around the box. Do it wrong. It's a hard. Everton. We could only give the hard luck story of Everton, but at the end of the day, the draw was still there to be had. But, you know, people could say basically drained us because we got robbed, but you still got to see games out. It's mental fortitude, you know.
I said the other day, it comes back to that thing of in isolation. That Brighton game, you'd lick your wounds and go, one of them days we were robbed, this, that, and the other. But it's been that story too often. We've lost 4 away games on the run, we haven't played anyone, and that's the bigger picture. You know, you go 2-2. It was a shocking decision by the referee because, like you said, if you give that penalty, you had to give to the child or someone. You had to. It's the same decision. So he didn't give it. They give Brighton a pen, but Everton have got to be better than that. There's a penalty.
He played down to the level of the opposition. Like this season, apart from the West Ham game where we didn't score enough, but we blew them out the water in the way they played. They couldn't get. They win the game in the sniff. The rest of the time, I can't remember where we haven't basically either just tried to control the game, we haven't threatened, or we've let teams have their own look. And like Sheffield, the cup games, Lincoln scored 2 against us. Sheffield Wednesday had a lot of chances. We didn't really play well last night. First half was dreadful.
Isn't that like a, seeing Leicester on Friday night win 9-0? Isn't that just a pure
culture thing?
Culture and confidence in what you're trying to do. Whereas I think when you're saying you're getting dragged down, it's because you're too worried. They seem worried too much about conceding goals and losing the game, and that to me is a major problem. Whereas like the West Ham game, we went out from the start with a bit of purpose to win the game, and almost because it's West Ham, we always beat them, so just go after them. It's like the same way that under Moyes we used to go after Man City because we didn't fear them, whereas everyone else we just sat back.
They were a big club then, weren't they, Man City, when they first got that money? When they came to Goodison, we never treated them like they were a big club. We never gave them any respect, and that's why we beat them. With West Ham, I think Silva knows put any of their players under pressure in the fold, aren't they? That's what happened last year when we played them, and then this year when we played them, and we're not seeing any. Maybe we'll have a great run against the top 6 again in December, but who knows?
We're going to have to.
Otherwise it's going to be a bottom half season.
Well, they're going to be open, aren't they? And we're better against open teams, aren't we? That's a fact, isn't it? Particularly at Goodison, we're all right again. I don't fear any of them at Goodison, no matter who's in charge. But I just think for us, there's an intensity level thing for me with Everton. And on Saturday, we didn't have any intensity. And if we would have had intensity, we'd have beat Brighton. Because let's be honest, that you've got hipsters on Twitter trying to tell you that Brighton are this great football team.
Hello.
Well, what did I say to you last week about Brighton? I've seen them all season. The bang average. It doesn't matter if you get them playing rondos all over the pitch.
No,
ultimately they haven't got any good players.
At the end of the day as well, a transition from a low block team into I would say you can't say they're a finished article by miles because they're not going to be able to Graham Potter. So I think the praise came from probably a bit early because it could be by the end of the season could be in trouble because they're going to be one of those teams.
They haven't got enough good players, Brighton. They've got workman like play, which is fine, by the way. Which is fine. I'm not thinking. I'm just saying it made me laugh last week when people were going, one in particular, where Everton could get done 6 or 7 by the. If you thought that, you're an embarrassment.
Right? Do you know why we wouldn't get done 6 or 7?
But by the same token, is that they stuck to what they were doing. But Everton allowed the game to be played slowly. You know what? It looked to me exactly like a carbon copy of the game we played at Christmas down there when we lost last year. There was very low quality from both teams. I include us in this because until the second half, the first half we were poor. Second half, for that half an hour after half time, we were the better side, but we still didn't really create anything. We had all the ball.
I think one of the reasons why we do that is because we get into games and they're slow, and then we almost try and quicken up too fast, and it'll just give them the ball away instead of building the tempo up gradually. People getting a feel of the ball in the first 5-10 minutes, everyone getting comfortable on the ball in the first 5 minutes, getting used to the conditions instead of, and this is what we've done a lot over the last 2-3 seasons, is we try and rush everything. So we're trying to play perfect passes and they're getting overhit. They're not realising the pitch is a little bit slippy, so it's going to skid off it. Instead of just getting into the game, settling into it for 5, 10, 15 minutes, and then doing all the basic things you should do in a game of football, getting to know your opponent a little bit. What's the fella got on me today? What have I got on him? Sussing it all out, doing all the basics right, and then building from that. And that we do that all the time. You're right, and I think in this game, I think something clicked in the second half when it was 1-1. We were like, we can win this. We're on top of you. We're passing the ball. We're moving it. We're getting into nice areas of the pitch. These are not really doing anything.
They didn't create any chances at all.
You know, he made a couple of changes. Obviously, he made the couple of subs after he brought Sigurdsson up, which I thought was a mad decision.
Well,
no, I thought it was. I just thought it was a mad decision.
I said that, and it's a default thing with him. No, this is what I was going to say. Why we probably won't get beat 6 or 7 away is because I think he's scared of losing away, and we play like it. We play to control away. Whereas at home, we can be sometimes, not on the front foot. But there's no.
If that's the case, why have we got all of our midfield on the edge of their box in the last minute? Then why aren't we protecting ourselves if he wants to?
Because I think that's the disconnect sometimes. And this is another thing I pick up. Why have we not got back to basics? Like, when you're in trouble, managers always say, scrap everything, get back to basics, get the basics work, and then build on that. We just seem to be building on the house of cards that we're building, that we're going now. And some games it works, and most games it doesn't, especially when teams sit back against us. First half, like against last night, but they did that first half, and we sort of struggled with it again.
It's weird because quite clearly Everton have got the ability in the side. Players with a lot of talent in there, but I don't know whether it's clear instruction from them to slow the game down, to try to quieten the crowd. But I just think we're at our best when we play with intensity and pace, and that's when we worry teams. When we're slow and pass it round, we make it very easy for teams.
They know what's going to happen. Yeah, there's two ways of playing in Everton. There's, like you say, that fast pace we saw against West Ham, and then there's that style where I think teams just know that they can deal with it, and we get sometimes score.
But this is where I don't understand why you would have a Sigurdsson on the pitch, because when Iwobi's on the pitch in the middle of the park, there's something's gonna happen where it doesn't always come off, but there's gonna be a little bit of intensity. You can see in his own body language, he's always on the move, where Sigurdsson's very
right hand pocket, yeah.
But he just stands around, doesn't he? And you've seen that in the match. I just couldn't believe why he would bring Sigurdsson when you think, Iwobi's playing there. Let's just move a Charlison to the left and put a striker onto the middle.
No one would have any issues.
Exactly. The shape's exactly going to be as it is. You've trained for that all week, and then you bring in Sigurdsson on who slows everything down, and then the second and third subs, yes, one's positive, but then the other one is you're taking a right-sided midfielder off who's pushing them back, and then they end up scoring by coming down our right-hand side. It's not a coincidence, that, to me. They've done that.
I've called this game management into question a lot, and people go, the subs work because Dom scored. Yeah, okay. But I think sometimes the subs can bring the mentality onto the pitch. If you make the right subs, it pushes you on, or if you make the wrong subs, it opens you up, and like you say, that right hand side, as soon as you make that sub, that's when we...
But I don't think anyone was questioning Dom coming on.
No, I understand.
It's 1-1, right? So that's fine. So anyone saying to you, the subs work because Dom scored, well, yeah. But the Delph sub to me, and I said it at the time, and I said it now, the Delph sub didn't make any sense to me. It was either take Gomez off, he was shocking, and put Delph on in that same position, then that's fine, because he's still leaving. Brighton were pegged back, don't forget, because Walcott pushed Dan Burn back because he was worried about him. So they weren't coming out. We had Dom, and we had Richarlison. But what he did was, he took Theo off, put Delph in, pushed Sigurdsson over to the left, and all of a sudden he started moving the whole team around. Then Tom got pushed up into a false 9.
Yeah,
and then
I think this is Marco's problem, and
it was mad.
I think I think a lot of it is actually to do with confidence. He's just, I think he should, not that he's, I've called him clueless before, but he just seems short of answers, and he seems to either overthink things or not realise what he's doing.
I just think he feels under so much pressure that now he can't see the wood for the trees, and I'm not having that João Pedro who might have gone, hang on a sec, stay calm.
Well, you have that soundboard, don't you? And I think Mourinho's...
Well, hang on, what do we make of the instructions to Dominic Calvert-Lewin for about 5 minutes? Even the commentators were going, what can he possibly be saying to him? He was ready to come on. The ref was going, coming on, and he was going, Bowen Morse, he was going, one instruction, go on and score.
Well, what happens is someone's got a camera in the stand, taking pictures of the defence and saying, getting these gaps.
Yeah,
I'm alright with all that.
It went on for far too long.
5 minutes because it's simple instructions. Look at them two there, get in the middle of them two, work off that. Yeah.
From what I did was he was basically showing them all the shops on the way home that had orange 12s.
Oh, okay.
That's what it was.
Well, that's fair enough. Obviously Steve Kelly was
Did he send the route map to them?
No, we've told them we've got to keep the orange 12s under wraps, you know what I mean? Steve brought a boxing. Sean Turton, one of our patrons, sent us 4 as well. Very kind of him. If anyone else out there wants to send us orange 12 or knows the location of orange 12,
or any other confectionery,
just quietly DM us on the side. I believe service stations are the place to get them though. If you think about it,
any kind of sound like different types of
exactly. I was thinking little drive up to the M62, you know, just the one in Warrington.
See your Swan services
just to get an orange swill.
I mean, come on, Bass. You know what?
Hey, listen, the prices.
It's almost. I'm not being funny. It's almost Christmas. If you don't have different flavoured kind of chocolate at Christmas, then when
I'm much tired, then it's not Christmas, is it?
I'm just waiting for that.
Die Hard's not a Christmas film.
I want orange 12 Baileys. Okay. That's what I'm looking for.
You melt some.
Pardon? Don't ever accuse me of that ever again.
You dip Jaffa cakes in coffee.
I mean, yeah, but that makes perfect sense. Coffee is a dessert drink.
It's a cake. You don't dip cake into drink.
Do you get like a big gatto and
and just stick it in the top there?
I'm not being funny. Come to ours at Christmas. Come to ours.
Maybe he does. Maybe he does.
We've got a special dessert called
where's my coffee gone in the bleeding cake?
Soak.
Yeah, just
dessert called a soggy Black Forest.
A what now?
Exactly.
You don't want a soggy bottom. So you know,
listen to it. Mr. Bake Off last night, did you?
No. What's the? Cheers. The whole thing was, you know, we 2-2 and you're looking for that resilience. The subs unbalanced us, and then they break and get the win in the 94th minute. And again, you know, I said it on the final word. Michael Keane's position. He runs towards Trossard. I mean, it was dead easy for Brighton.
Yeah.
They were looking and going, well, hang on. Everton now have made 3 changes. They've unbalanced the right hand side. Trossard, you just go and play on the left. And that's why all of a sudden they were going, oh, Brighton have got this live wire. If Everton would have just doubled up on him, that's normal. He wouldn't have had to kick the kid.
He's an hazard light.
You know,
that's what he is.
If players just have some positional sense, but that's the problem when you've got. The problem is, right, when you've got players on the pitch who all playing. So we had 4 centre midfielders on. It doesn't matter what job you ask them to do. When you're in certain situations, they will always go back to what their default is, what they've been trained to do for years.
Keane last night.
Like what they've been doing for years and years and years. They will all occupy the same spaces, and then they'll all turn around and go, isn't someone supposed to be tracking the guy on the left hand side? And they'll go, I thought that was your job. No, that's your job. Yeah, but I'm playing.
Don't know
exactly, because they're all centre midfielders. They're not left midfielders, right midfielders, and they're not right backs or whatever.
I got the impression that they didn't know that they didn't train that system as an eventuality. Like, you can see when people change systems during games, you've trained for it. When then they had the 4 midfielders on, I just thought like.
I mean, he did. In all fairness to him, we lost Bernard after 25 minutes with a free injury. It's a big blow, and that threw us out a little bit. But again, me and Ped were saying, like, I don't know whether it might have been on the final word, instead of just putting Calvert-Lewin up front and Richarlison to the left where he plays, he ended up moving a Wobie back out to the wing and put Sigurdsson in. But then he changed the whole...
The pilot's an aeroplane.
So the dynamic of the team...
The
dynamic of the team then changed, didn't it? And obviously so... But anyway, you know, we concede the goal. Not really Luca Dean could do about it. If he left it, Glenn Murray had to put it in at the back post, because that's how. I just didn't understand Michael Keane's movements in it. He goes towards Trossard and then runs away from him. If he carries on, but if he carried on running towards Trossard, he'd have slowed the play down, and we might have got bodies goal side.
He's absolutely terrible defending space, and do you know why? Because he was so good defending in the low block, because he didn't have to do things like that. And sometimes he's fine without the low block, and I think Silva's done quite well with him to get him to a level where he's been alright in it. But it's natural, like you say with other players, default was I can't defend wide because
so we ran back towards our goal, creating loads of space for Trossard, and we lose the game. And that from even if we'd have got, we said this, even if we'd have got a point, you'd have gone, alright, we've been robbed there by VAR, but we got a win last week, we've got a point this week, we move on next game, and we lose the game, and you feel like, and I know we're going to talk about it in part 2, but you feel like we're just back to square one. Literally back to square one.
But at least we had Tuesday night against Watford. It was absolutely dreadful. And what I would say, this was almost like a flip. On Tuesday night, he started out with a formation that didn't really work. Got to half time, reverted back to something that did work, that did have a shape. It had the desired.
Wanted 4-2-3-1.
No, but it had the desired effect, whether you will like it or not.
Natural right hand side play can change everything.
Yeah. Well, and it worked, and it got us the win. It got us into the hat, got us into the quarterfinals, and it shows sometimes. But like you were saying before, don't overthink things because you haven't got time to make the preparation for Moise Keane to be on the right hand side.
Just play him centre forward, don't play him at all. I know you want to give him minutes. I'm all for developing players at minutes, but don't give him token minutes in a position he's not going to excel in.
Play him on the right, but play him high. Don't make it a 4-5-1, which is what it was. It was a 4. Richarlison was too
this
deep.
Is what I can play him. Richarlison can play there. You know, he's not the best. He's not at his best there, but he can play there because he's a winger. But you're still not getting the best out of him doing that. So it's like a constant thing, isn't it? I don't understand the obsession with the 4-2-3-1. I think now that Sigurdsson's out the team, you know, hopefully for the foreseeable future, that we can go to a more natural 4-3-3. Now you don't have, you can shape the midfield out if you like. You can still have Iwobi slightly ahead of the two, but just deeper, and you have the 3 narrow up front. But
Iwobi works. Iwobi doesn't play like Sigurdsson. This is the difference when people look at it. He's putting tackles in on the edge of our box and things like that, but you don't really see. It's exactly what he is. People go on about Sigurdsson. Gylfi Sigurdsson's got loads of fantastic technique. He really has. He strikes a ball lovely. He can get you the goal from nowhere. But he's not involved in the game. End of story. 15 touches he had at the weekend. 15 touches.
That's because he was at Swansea, and that's why he excelled at Swansea, because they're not expected to be on the ball all game, and he can have those little pockets flashes, where he gets in flashes and scores a wonderful 30-yarder. He's got wonderful technique, let's be honest here. But when you need a team to break someone down, you need to be on the ball constantly. He's number 10.
What he wouldn't have done is he wouldn't have battled through that couple of players that led to the first goal. He wouldn't have battled. He wouldn't have got through those players, put a ball in that obviously got kept
well
alive.
Defended.
Got kept alive by Walcott, put in, and Allgate's scores his first goal. So but that's the difference, though, isn't it? I mean, as I'm saying, whether you think Iwobi's is good or is creative, it's things like that get you opportunities. It's creating opportunities through hard work.
So by subtraction, there was maybe taking goals out the team, but you basically.
But are you taking goals out the team?
No, you overall you probably.
But what's he got? He's got 3 at the moment, hasn't he?
Will be
2 or 3.
Yeah. Well, the big point is though he's a more natural goal scorer, Gylfi. But then what you're adding though is that creativity and movement off the front, and it's making other players better.
Going back to Moise Keane just very quickly though.
Oh God!
If Richarlison plays a half decent ball, he's got a tap in, and it's 1-0. No one's saying, oh, he's terrible. They're saying what a good goal. You know, Richarlison down the left hand side, pulled back, and he's got a tap in because it was such a bad ball by Richarlison. It never gets to Moise Keane. And there was another one after that, I think, that he got the ball and really he should just get it at his feet and strike it, but he started to take people on a couple of times. And I think half the problem was not necessarily where he was playing, it was just that he's trying too hard. Because the opportunities are so limited that.
What happens is when you, whatever level, if you're trying to get in a team, you're trying to prove, you know what, when I was playing and whatever level, for whatever team, if you're not in the team, you get on and you're trying to show, especially if you're trying to make an impression, you're trying to show everyone that you're a good player. So he's doing step overs and stuff that he doesn't need to do, instead of just being simple and knock it off, get it back. The one where he broke quickly, and he's doing all this. Get your shot away a bit earlier. He hesitated, then he hits it and it gets blocked. But you're thinking if he'd have just got it out of his feet, he'd have had a bit more space to work in. And there was one that Iwobi almost got him in, and he'd have been in on the keeper, and it got the last ditch challenge cleared it. But
I'd like to see him with Iwobi behind him. I think that Iwobi'd slip him in. I think when you played Sigurdsson there, and people go, "Oh, we played against Sheffield United. He played against."
Yeah, but
let's be honest here, Gylfi does put a couple of good balls in every so often, but
doesn't play to the striker.
He wants to cross it.
I think one of our big problems is I'm sort of starting to see.
Iceland. No, sorry, that's true.
I'm starting to see the pattern that we had last year, where we started with one team, and by the end of the season, we ended up with a different manager. No, we started.
Didn't last year.
No, but we started
because like Paul McCartney is the real Marvel Silver.
Avril Lavigne. We started with one team last season. Don't forget, first day of the season at Wolves, and by the end of the season, it was completely different. And I feel like it's going to be the same this season. I feel like the likes of Sigurdsson are going to go out the side, and Coleman's going to go out the side, and Michael Keane's going to go out the side, and by the time,
Silva's,
it's going to be. I mean, let's let's hope it improves the side. But those things could have a big effect on the likes of Moise Keane, and hopefully that's the case, because
it's not. Do you know what? The story's not written about Moise Keane. People going Sandro and all that nonsense.
No.
Come on. Let's be honest, if anyone watched him for, if you can go and watch him for Juventus, he was confident. He's playing with Ronaldo up front, and people go, well, that's the quality he needs to play with to be good. It's not. He was great for them in the league. But anyway, he needs to be given time, but it's not going to help him. The stop-start development.
No.
That's why I'm glad Andy Gordon's not on the team. I know he's put stuff on Instagram there. I'm glad he's not near the team yet, because I can imagine the exact same with Tom. Tom, one game, like last season, he'll be playing a game, a couple of games, come on as a sub, then he'll be in the stand for the next 3 games. That is not how you develop players.
I was surprised Tom wasn't in the team last night, to be honest. I just think that.
I think there's too much on the line.
I know the manager is probably thinking, yeah, but it's a League Cup, it's a good opportunity to give this player, but I just think people like Tom need a run a game.
He's the one player who needs.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what tournament it is, or if it's we played Saturday and we're playing Tuesday and playing Sunday. I think he's the kind of player just like put me in that team.
Alternatively, though, did you measure obviously the peak performance and all that? Yeah, he didn't play for a while, and then he's played like 3 or 4 games on the bounce. They might be saying he just needs that little break.
He might play Sunday against Spurs, and that might be what the.
Well, I hope so, but that's going to be the big litmus test for Tom, because they're a very physical side, which is what people have accused him not being able to play against. You've got Ndombele, Sissoko, or big midfielders who control the game. That's going to be a good test, but I would play him, because if you are going to be Tom, you need to be moving those midfielders, and his tempo is added tempo to the team.
Well, Richarlison finished it off brilliantly in the last minute. Great finish to just put them out the misery.
Striker's finish.
And we're into the next round. We'll find out tomorrow who we get. Anyway, coming up in part 2, we will be discussing
the state of play of Everton.
There you go. Coming up very, very soon. Welcome back to part 2 of the Toffee TV podcast. Ed, Baz and Andy. So, and come on, what are we talking about here then? What's going on? What do you want to get off your chest? This is. I don't want to go like too long, because we could be gone for hours on this. But you've probably got your own opinions. Is Everton on the pitch and Everton off the pitch and Everton in the stands? If you get what I mean. None of it connects. There's a disconnect. The fans have an idea of what we're supposed to be doing, and their fans want certain things. Marcel Brands is building something else, and I think it's much a slower process than the fans want. But the club don't communicate that to the fans, and then the club don't help itself off the pitch because they don't do media very well, and then they don't do commercial very. It's just all a mismatch. And I think what do you think they do well?
Spell Everton,
the charity work.
Well, the charity work's fantastic, but that really is just a sidearm.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's like, it's nothing to do with really Everton Football Club. It's got the name, and obviously we do fund it, whatever, but the football matters, really. That's that.
Of course it does.
It comes. The best clubs come from the top down. You see it when there's dysfunction, or there's no clear message from the top, and there's no. You don't all work in sync as departments. Then there's just no fluidity, and that's been it. And before Marcel Brands got here, then you would say that. But even now, Marcel Brands, I still don't feel that he's got his full control of the club yet, and I don't know why that is.
No, I agree with you there.
I still feel that the academy's still got a lot of work to be done on it. I still feel that the decisions. I think hopefully he'll get to choose his own manager eventually, whenever that is, and whether he is allowed to, because Machine's obviously been very hands-on with that. And this is where it needs to flow. If Brands is going to be the head of football, then all the football decision needs to be made in either Brands' image, if he's the right man, if people deem him the right man, or not. And then off the pitch, we need someone to run off the pitch thing that's separate to Brands. Like people said at Manchester United, Ed Woodward's great off the pitch, but when it's to do with on the pitch matters, he should have nothing to do with it. And Everton needs to think that way as well. We need to separate the two.
I absolutely agree with you. I think it's difficult sometimes to quantify what Brands is doing, because I think he said himself it's going to take a long time, and we can't just be saying, well, it's about the players you've got on the pitch at the moment, because sometimes you can get the best 11 players, they don't always fit together, but it's his job to try and do that. But it's definitely the other side at the moment that's really, and these things always rear their heads when you're not doing so well, but there does seem to just be a lack of leadership when there's so many people, it seems, that are in charge of the club, which I can't fully understand. You've obviously got the owner, you've got the chairman, you've got the CEO, then you've got brands, and I struggle to
raising brands.
I struggle to see what the identity of the club is and what the message is of the club, because none of those people are talking, and the only time you hear people talking about Everton from Everton is about the stadium.
Who's the face of the club? You've not to say who the face of the club is.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Jurgen Klopp is the face of Liverpool. He'll do all the media. You never see Michael Edwards. You never see John Henry unless it's a special interview. You never see Peter Moore unless it's through business. Marco Silva, we've not really done well with him. We've discussed that before. Bill Kenwright sometimes, but he disappears in and out, doesn't he, Bill? I know he's not really, I suppose, intimately involved in the day-to-day Everton anymore. Farhad's at games a lot, but you never see interviews with him. Denise, unless it's charity, I don't really see her doing interviews about the club. So yeah, and brands, obviously, I don't think he wants to be in front of the cameras every single week, because that's not his role, I guess. Isn't
that the point, Baz, that someone needs to be like a leader at the top? Like, there needs to be some kind of, I'm not saying like, daily updates, a daily bulletin on what's going on, but don't you need someone who is the de facto leader of the football club? Because I just struggle to see who that is.
Yeah, I don't think there's any message from the club. We think we know where we want to go, because that's what we're interpreting. I think at times Denise has said, we want to get in the Champions League, or Mishiri said it, but is that really played out in the way the club's acting? I don't know. The brands thing I just find bizarre is that we don't shove them in front of a camera. Things have been pretty poor at times this season, still is, league-wise. Where's his message? Where's his thing of trying to calm everyone? Where's his we believe in the manager? Does he believe in the manager? Doesn't he believe in the manager?
The longer you leave it, the more people don't believe that. Yeah,
that's the thing. So
that's how he interprets it.
If he thinks Marco Silva's the right man for the job, why isn't he sat behind the camera going, yeah, this isn't very good at the moment, but we're having meetings all the time, we're looking at how we can improve.
Marco's told me this, Marco's told me that.
This is the reason why John Philippe Gbamin was bought for this. It's not work because he's injured, blah. There's been nothing. Now, okay, he mightn't feel like he has to do that, but there's no message coming anywhere. Do Everton want to be in the Champions League? We do as fans. Because that represents progress, money, business opportunity. Where do Everton want to be in the business world? Where are these new partners? Where are these multi-million-pound contracts signed with partners? Where's the? I remember John Blaine saying it ages ago, and he's right. They need a chief engagement officer at the club. Now, if Denise isn't going to do it for whatever reason, it might be better that isn't Denise if she's the CEO. They need someone who is the de facto voice, as you said, to discuss many different aspects of the club. Someone you go to when there's stadium news or there isn't any. Someone who deals with that. We know that when things are left, people fill the void. Yeah. It's happened with the stadium, and it'll happen all the way till Everton put plan permission in. They're not, you had Ian Ross last week or the week before. That's never going to happen. And it just allows, particularly Reds, it allows some people, naysayers, to have something to feed off, which then creates a negative aspect. The Marco Silva stuff, is he staying? Isn't he staying? They've approached Allegri, they've approached this manager's waiting in the wings, David Moyes, but no one deals with it, it gets left. Okay, you're not going to come out all the time and go, he's safe and he's, because that's the hard vote of confidence, but it just doesn't, I don't know, there's no
communication of plan. This is my real big thing.
Get off your chest.
Is the appetite there to be a Champions League? Because it costs money to be a Champions League, we have to invest.
Well, we seen Man City last week.
Or as a Premier League status, like a lot of other clubs, we want to be one of the pack just because we've got that revenue, and it makes us a valuable club to potential buyers once that stadium's up. Now, Machine, I'm sure, is an ambitious man, but I've always thought and always saw it as he bought the club because he saw an opportunity to double his money eventually because of that stadium. And
he will.
And if you look at all the other clubs that were bought before Everton, I know we used to have constant conversations about Sunderland. They had a new stadium. West Ham had a new stadium to look forward to. All these clubs had stadiums. Everton didn't, and no one would take the chance on it. And so Machine decided there's probably a lot of money to be made in getting the stadium up and selling Everton, and I think that's what he's going to do. But is the appetite there to be a Champions League club?
what I was going to say then was, going back to your point, Baz, was I find it quite funny when people say, you know, when things happen like we lose, and some positive news gets spun, or you know, when you see Bill Kenwright with like Bernard on that Brazilian TV footage, and they're like, oh, he comes out but he goes missing. They're giving the club far too much credit. If they think that they've got that much nous, because they haven't got the nous to cover bad stuff up with good stories. There's a lot of coincidental stuff that goes on, but did
you do the copy and paste text to the players? That does go on.
But that's
a small way.
That's nonsense, though. That's just like little tiny bits. What I'm talking about, it's like when they say like, oh, suddenly there's an update on the stadium when we're playing crap. It's like that would have been there anyway.
Granite that we were using the left hand side of the stands.
You know, that's stuff
that was happening anyway.
That's stuff that they pour out anyway, because like it coincided with like the end of the second consultation or whatever. The club aren't that good to put stuff out, to cover stuff up. They really aren't. No. I've got experience of the last 10 years of having to sort of weave my way through the Everton media world.
Choppy waters.
And it baffles me. One of the big issues I have with Everton is that they keep on appointing from within. So it doesn't bring any fresh ideas. It brings people in who probably think they've got loads of ideas, but actually they're just rehashing the ideas of people that have already been at the club.
You love fake time.
And but when people come from outside the club, they bring in fresh new ideas that people haven't already thought of, and they don't get caught in the same traps that the people at the club are already in. So nothing ever moves on. If you keep on appointing from within, you're just rewarding. What are you rewarding? You're rewarding the failure of others, as far as I'm concerned. You've got to go out and find the best people out there to fill. It's a billion pound industry. £1 billion industry, and Everton is still, for me, running it like
it's 2001.
Like it's a corner shop. They really are. You go to Anfield, right? And I know it's a different kettle of fish, but it's a stadium that's always open. It's a stadium that's always got tours on. It's a stadium that's always got people. It's got a club shop that is like, it's like a warehouse. It's absolutely huge, and it's full of gear. You know, they're just on a court case because they're trying to get out of one big deal to get into another big deal. And it's like with Everton, it's like we can sit here now and none of us know whether we're going to have an Umbro kit next season or not. We don't. We sign a contract multi-year. We don't know whether it's going to be Umbro. There's rumours of other companies. Everton just seem to do things on such a small scale, and they don't want to really raise their head above just the surface, just in case it's wrong. And it's so annoying, because these are the same things that I was moaning about 6-7 years ago on my podcast. The same things I was moaning about is that, you know, it's always the same little things, and it's so frustrating, and it's on every level at the club still. And they might have, oh yeah, but we've got a department for this, and we've got a department for that, and we've got a department for this, but everything seems to get micromanaged right down, and yet it doesn't seem to go anywhere. And that seems to be Everton in a nutshell for me. It's they come out with all what they're going to do. They're going to do this and they're going to do that, and then when it's time to actually follow through with it, they never do it. And
we haven't got enough market leaders. That's the problem. You've got when you go and get someone who's leading up their industry and doing well in their industry, they bring not only fresh ideas and not only experience of doing the job, they bring a black book with them, people who they've dealt with. Where's that? I worked at Everton for 11 years, and all I would say is that it's tripled in size of staff, but I wouldn't say it doesn't appear to be run better than what it was. I was there when there was the accounts. I had 3 people doing it. Now it's got about 40 people doing it and things like that. There's loads of head offs at the club and things like that, but I'm not seeing any evidence that we're dealing in different levels now. It's difficult, don't get me wrong. It's difficult to compare us to Liverpool because Liverpool are a global brand, but what we can do is follow their model on a smaller scale, surely, because at the minute, like you say, there's question marks over whether Umbro are making our kit. We've heard other companies are making our kit, and that'll come because fanatics will basically make the kit and it'll just have a brand put on it, whatever. There's other things going on. There's sponsors dropping out, but then they're replaced by other sponsors, and they just for a year. Why aren't we getting bigger and bigger deals? Not just that. There's just so many little things. There's communication problems. There's things with like the originals and stuff that hasn't been followed through. That hasn't been followed through as well as what we hoped. You know, the club are still helping, but it needed to be a bit more of a concerted effort.
Trying to leave a legacy, goodness, and we would speak to a lad, and he was saying that they want to leave a legacy before we leave, because the grand old lady's going to be gone in a couple of years, isn't it? So you've got to leave a legacy.
But this is the point: they start things and they never follow them through. I think that's my big problem with it.
Build.
Well, very much so.
Well, that's it. That's 25 years ago, and we didn't do that. How we said we were going to do it.
They start it this is the thing though. They start things and they just never follow them through. Do you know what? You know, we went to the Fanatic launch. That must have been a year ago, mustn't it? Now, the Fanatic launch, and we were told at the Fanatic launch, oh, you know what? Something could happen on a Saturday, and by the Monday we could have a T-shirt out for it. I think they've launched about 4 T-shirts in that time, and they're all awful. The gear they bring out is awful. Oh, it's shocking. It's shocking. I don't even get me started on that side of things. The darkest club shop in the world. It's like they turned all the lights off so that
it's a club, isn't it?
No, they turn
trying to make it like Hollister.
No, they do.
That's what it's like.
No, what it is. I don't think it is. I think they're trying to turn all the lights down so people walk past it and don't realise it's there, because that's what it feels like. Whereas I've said this before.
Turn the lights off, no one can see.
Yeah, no one can see. No one can see. They'll keep walking. They won't come in and bother us.
Upstairs to sell.
They won't see that we've got no stock in and it's crap anyway. It's that stuff though. You walk past the Liverpool shop and it's booming, it's bouncing, it's dead light, it's dead airy, and it's very welcoming. Ours isn't, and that's to me is what the club's like. If you went up to the club right now, right, the tickets office would be open, the club shop's open, but you could walk around that entire ground and you wouldn't feel like there was anybody in that stadium. You go to Anfield,
there's tour buses outside.
You go to Anfield and there's people outside all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, we have moved the business to the live.
No, I appreciate that.
So
I appreciate that.
Well, you needed to do that.
I appreciate that, but what I'm saying is, my point is, it's not about being a business. It's about the place feeling alive. Therefore, it feels welcoming. Therefore, how many times have you heard stories? And I know they do tours. But how many times have you heard stories of like people going up there and it's like, oh, you know what? I come all the way from America and I got there and Frank's this dead kind steward. He let me have a look around. It's like, no, that's a business opportunity. That should be.
Yeah, but if there isn't a demand, I know what you're saying.
Create a demand. Create a tour. Liverpool have got all kinds of mad virtual reality stuff and everything, and I know we're not
shopping in a different
chalk and cheese. I appreciate that, but why don't you have a little look and say, well, what are they doing that we could be doing? And it's all right. Maybe people will go, well, what's the point? There's so many few years left, but of course there is, because the club is still renovating parts of the ground and doing different things. They've just done the lounges. Why isn't one of those lounges open on a normal day and you're welcoming people and going, this is going to be open all day, come and have your dinner here, come up to Everton, have a little look around, get on a tour if there's one on, and come and have something to eat here. And I've been saying these things.
It's a member of staff. They will say it'll be staff members. Then you've got to have someone in to prepare the food.
Yeah. Do you know what that's called? It's called a business.
Oh no, but if there's no demand for it.
Do you know what though? We were willing to spend £20 million to get Marco Silva out of Watford. I'll just leave that there.
They didn't know they paid for.
No, but honestly, do you know what though? That's
no, but I'm saying to you,
that's the club. That's what I'm saying. This club.
I'm not defending them. I'm just saying that's probably how they'll look at it and go, well, say like 3 people come in.
So what? So then what's the point? Then what's the point in going to a new ground then?
But I think they will do that. The new ground.
A new stadium.
No, I know.
No,
I know that. But you're forever waiting for something then, aren't you? Instead of what they've built the lounges, and what they said about the lounges, they've said we're building the lounges to show what we can do with the new ground. That's brilliant. So do it for everything then. You've just opened up a load of new space at the ground by getting all the office workers out. So create a better tour. Put somewhere in there that could be a restaurant open for a couple of hours a day to coincide with a tour or whatever, and that's where you finish your tour. And you know that's the way big clubs do these things.
It's not like we haven't got any trophies to show people as well. You know, and then people like, I haven't won 8 for years, but one of the successful clubs in the history of England. There's a history there to be told.
It's a lot of things, and it drives me absolutely up the wall. That we're
never going to be good on the pitch unless we fix this.
We're not projecting ourselves It's like this is our problem. We are, and I feel like this is our problem, that we're embarrassed by ourselves.
No one wants to look back.
But I think it's like a bit like we're shut off as well. Like whatever reason, the club has closed its doors to the fans and the media in a lot of ways, and basically certain people get access. Whereas Liverpool, the lads next door get access to the Jurgen Klopp, as if we'd ever, or you'd ever, would get access to Marcus Silva. Now maybe that'll change, hopefully.
But some people, you like what you just said though. Some people do get access. Some of the same people get the same access
well, that's
all
the friends
the time.
They go to weddings and all that.
They're the same all the time. I mean, listen, Everton didn't even do a press conference this week for the League Cup. Liverpool got their assistant manager out and let him do it all.
Everyone loved Pep Linders as well.
You know what I mean? It's all these little things that it's like, do we not have to do media for that? Don't do media for it. It's like, no, because the fans want to hear. No, don't talk to the fans. It's baffling.
There's just things that we just...
I want to know.
There's loads of simple wins with Everton that could improve stuff and they don't do it.
And I'm not saying Marcus Silva still to me is our 10-point plan. I just want to say, if he said we're building this year, we're hoping for Europe, we're hoping for a cup win, but it's still going to take time. Everyone will go, alright, that's not good enough, but whatever. He's saying that, at least there's a plan in place. People can understand, but then when it's just nothing, it's just the agency that we sit in forever. I just want to say, this is actually, I've been saying this for years, Everton never, because we lived hands and out every year, there was no plan. Now there is a plan, it seems, and I think, this is what Marcel Brands has been brought in for. Someone actually said in the comments the other day that because he'd never played top level football, he doesn't understand tactics. But he did play top level football at home, but whatever. At the end of the day, Everton fans need to buy into his plan, or this is never.
Do you know what I feel like? Do you honestly feel like with the whole club? I feel like the club is 20 years behind the top club, so it's decided it's not going to bother.
Well, Liverpool were 10 years behind United, and they caught up now because they changed it. Because they've got the owners in from the Boston Red Sox who changed the Boston Red Sox as well, and they've modernised them. We need that same modernisation. But
it's basically what they've done is they've gone, right, when we get that new stadium, that's going to bring us in line with everyone. No, you're right.
You could be Sunderland when that stadium
exactly,
comes in.
You're right. They've decided like we're going to bring everything in line once that stadium comes in, and you're like, well, hang on. There's going to be 4 years till we get that stadium. What happens in the in between time? Oh, don't worry about that. Well, in those 4 years, all we're going to do is continue to fall off. And do you know, as we fall off, we're going to lose fans. We're going to lose. People are just going to. The people that you're supposed to add every year are not going to follow us.
It's a dads and lads. It's going to be a dads and lads club for Everton. You're not going to get those lads who go, actually, just support Everton, because there's other options out there. When the 90s when I grew up, there was Everton was still because of the reputation of the 80s, was still a big club. Now kids, there's every league in the Barcelona kids are more prevalent than Everton kids around the world. We're not just around the world, but I see kids every day in Barcelona, Real Madrid tops that never used to happen when I was young. Even though
PSG.
Yeah. Well, that's because they've got the Jordan brand thing. That's a great spot. That's a great link up. Because got Kylian Mbappe.
Listen, I fully understand that kind of thing. We can't attract that kind of. I'm not asking
little small wins.
I'm not asking for that. What I'm looking for is the club to work with what it's got. Right?
Make the best of itself.
Make the best of what it's got. So what it's got is a passionate fan base that want to hear from it, and it's got different outlets of media, whether it be people like us, whether it be the other podcasts, other channels, whatever. Instead of going through the same people all the time, trying to get your message out to the people it matters to, and then spread it from there. Whereas for far too long, they've either jumped over and gone, oh, we'll just ring Jim White, or we won't spread the message at all.
Hello, Jim.
And it's just, it just doesn't make any sense. It's like they've got access to like YouTube and all that there. Make something.
But they can't even get a stream going.
Make something. It's
a massive club and they can't get a stream.
I just wonder if you're Mashiri and you're looking at it.
Is he second protector?
What level are you looking at? So you've come in and you're putting this money in. Why wouldn't you want it to be the very best?
Yeah.
Well, he's got his pal Sasha running it, hasn't he? And I don't know what he's like. And I've never really seen him. I know people have interviewed him for. I think the Everton Business Masters interviewed him. Apart from that. Again, I wouldn't know any. I don't really. I know he worked for.
You interview him?
I spoke to him, didn't I? I had a chat. Oh yeah, I did actually for the Fanatic. And I've spoke to him in Switzerland as well. You're very nice, but what does he do?
Is he now running the day-to-day operations of the club, or is Denise running them?
Isn't he commercial?
He's the financial director, isn't he, or something?
But
so we don't even know what he is.
No, but that's fine. If there was a clear distinction splitting them roles, and Denise just was the person who did the local stuff, and he was going to the businesses. But
where's the Everton something?
Well, I don't know. We've signed a load of deals with everyone. But then it's like a list of 40 clubs sign these deals.
We've got two energy drink partners. I mean, that should. So where's the energy?
Where's Red Bull when you need?
No, you're supposed to speak to one of them, but you know,
Well, you know.
that's the answer.
But I think the whole club has to buy into an ethos of success and ambition on and off the pitch. For it to be, and this quickly, I just want to
Go
make on for Everton to be successful, the academy needs to be one of the biggest things at the club. And for whatever people say about it, that we don't produce enough good players, it's because the pathways are crap. Marcel Brands needs to get hold of that academy and sort it out, because otherwise it's going to step away from us and we're going to lose really good players next summer or the summer after.
Well, I'll tell you what, just to round this off, I'll tell you what will be dead interesting what happens with now to the end of the season, because over the weekend it was that Premier League breakfast in America, wasn't it, for NBC, and there was a lot of Tim Howard was obviously there, and he was all trackied up, and it was a lot of Everton focus because Howard was there.
Yeah, loads of Everton
fans. They were on live, and they had this little girl, and she had a kit on, and they were holding on, and it was very Everton centric because Howard was there, because obviously he's a big American hero. Loads of Blues watching the match. There was a lot of focus. Darren Griffiths was over there, so you know it was important. What were you laughing at? Doing a show in one of the pubs as well. Big Q&A with Tim Howard. And let's see what they do with that. Are they going to drive that forward now? Are they going to push that and say, you know what?
Fanatics for American companies. Well.
No, but are they going to go, well, we're going to America in the summer. We've got Tim Howard. We've got an ambassador. We've got this big...
Because
we've got the Carabangi game.
No, but they've got this new Everton in the USA brand. They've ditched the other one. They've created their own one. Are they going to follow that through now? Are they going to push that forward? Are they going to try and get... Are they going to go to the States? You know what I mean? Or what? Or
what? Go to the States?
Or what are they... Oh, hang on. You can drop us off at the airport.
And that is my role.
The point being is that are they gonna? This is now a thing that they can go. We're gonna push this through now. We've got one of the biggest names in American soccer, and we can drive through this. Are we gonna do it? And that will be a big test of Everton actually starting something and actually pushing it through.
It's not gonna happen. I'm going to save you the time.
I think that's the way Everton work. They just go,
it sounds like
and someone goes in the room. No.
Do you want me can't do that? Because I'm on holiday that week. So
leave it.
There's actually a story about Tim Howard and people being on holiday, but we'll leave that for Anyway, let's move on. Coming up in part 3, we will discuss, probably very, very quickly, the game against Spurs on Sunday. Welcome back to the final part of the Toffee TV podcast, paired Baz, Andy the Piv. Tottenham, 4:30 Sunday.
Kryptonite coming. Honestly, Spurs are the one team I always worry about, because I just think the last 5 or 6 years, since Pochettino, really, because before that, really much really, but just outsmart us every time. And it's really evidence as well when you watch the game. It's like, we're nowhere near these. But they're not in great form. We haven't won since January away, is it?
Oh, well, that should be easy then, shouldn't it?
Someone roll up the picture of that fella. Here comes Everton.
I always think the problem with us in Tottenham is when we play them, I always think they've got a mental toughness that we haven't got. I know it hasn't been that evident recently, but I always think they just have a steeliness about them that we just don't have, and they can get through games, and they can. I remember a couple of years ago when we got beat by 3-0, and they were doing nothing, and Harry Kane killed a crossing and it went top corner, and we just felt a bit, and they just went on and battered us 3-0. And it's that kind of thing, but it's like when you've got the likes of Kane in form, or an Ericsson, or whoever's in form at the time, you know that we can huff and puff, but they only need that one moment. So last season, wasn't it? Last season, 1-0 up. But then we have what looked like a perfect goal disallowed.
Yeah.
They come down the other end, mix up between Zuma and Pickford, and then we end up getting battered. 6-2, destroyed at home.
It was a frenetic game that way, and at the time I remember it was end to end, and then obviously Pickford and Zuma.
It was end.
Basically, that was it. It was a weird game. We done all right at the opening 25
as well, where Cuco Martino was just isolated completely by Spurs and just annihilated us. I think that was the game Harry Kane scored that goal. I'm sure it was that the Tottenham's game or whatever? Anyway, but yeah, they're not playing well, but I think they're still better. They've still got enough quality to put us to the swords. They're really good. They
should be the top.
But then we should come on the traps and push them back.
Put them on it, yeah.
Because then if you put them under pressure, exactly. You put them under pressure, then they can fold. But I think the problem with Everton at the moment, and Marco, because he's under pressure, he's going to play with a bit of fear, and that's going to kill you against Spurs. I think you need. But then again, we don't play like that against other big sides. But Spurs is different again with them, man.
I mean, it'll be interesting because, like you say, they played Liverpool this week.
Did it right for the first
Took
half,
the lead, Son should have made it 2-0. How he's missed that one.
They were just getting more.
And then he just panicked and went back. Once Liverpool.
And then Sergio Aguilera's 9th penalty in 5 games. What it's been.
Yeah, I mean that was pathetic. So they're not strong mentally at the minute. They've lost 18 games in 2019 or something.
Is that the thing we've got to do? Then start the game fast and try and get in the lead. And if we can try and get in the lead, and suddenly they're under pressure
the
again.
Doubts creep in then, don't they?
Because they're not been coming back. Last season they were coming back and winning games, because they didn't draw, I think, for the first 6-7 months, wasn't it? And then they were winning games out of nothing, and this season it's been saving themselves, like the Dele Alli goal that was given that shouldn't have been given, and I don't know, it's on a more weird side. They've got more than enough talent to be easily third in the league, the best team in Chelsea.
You say that though, but if you took Kane out the side, would there be the same? No, but would there be the same fear factor there?
Yes,
I know
they were great last season.
Well, yeah, but that's last season though. I look at this season, I look at the goalkeeper. Now they've had to change it. I look at the full-backs. I think the centre-backs are dodgy. They're not playing Ericsson. Ali's not the same kind of player. I look at a team that's in transition, and I just think that sometimes you can look back too far. Whereas this season, there's been loads of rumours about off-field problems, and I'm sure it'll all come out in the Amazon documentary. But they look fragile to me, and that's why.
Documentary, if that's the case.
That's what. Where it's here, there'll be an interesting. They look mentally fragile, but again, it's us going into it going, they haven't won since January, so that means they're going to win. Whereas, can we not just try and get a bit of stealing?
For Everton, you're looking at it and going, in general, we're quite good at home. We had a good record against the top 6 last season. Alright, Spurs battered us and City beat us, but the others we were fine. We didn't lose against the others, didn't concede a goal against the others. So coming into this, we're not playing well, but we've won our games at home. That's where we've got our wins from. They're not very good away. We've had the last 2 home games, we've had a clean sheet in. They're all the kind of things you have to look at and take it positively and go, look, the crowd are 4 on a Sunday. Hopefully, the street end will have been bevying, so they'll be up for it. Yeah. Get, like Pedro said, try and get in front, get ahead against them and ask questions of them. Now last season they had the answers. We capitulated, if you remember. The first, the Zuma and Pickford one was nonsense, absolute nonsense. We give people time in the box to make it. So the second goal I think went through Pickford, and the third one it's a free kick that come back and Kane knocked it in. But they're not playing well, and you can get at them, but it's whatever team he puts out. Will it be quick enough in midfield?
I doubt it.
And that's but they're what he's got to go with.
I don't mean to, I'm not trying to be negative or sarcastic. I'm trying to understand from Marco's point of view. I just think you've got to play a defensive mind in midfield against Tottenham. I just think you do, and that's not overthinking it or smart. I just think he has. I don't think he's got the.
But then that's fine. So play Delph and Gomez.
I think he will do.
Yeah, so they've got to be the 2. Let Iwobi sit off it, playing through the middle, and then go Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin and Walcott as a front 3, and go a bit more direct. Let Walcott scores against these. He scored against them. In fact, he scored in both games against them last season, didn't he? Home and away. So have Walcott in the team because he's playing well anyway. And deserves to be there. Iwobi there to run at them and let Gomez and I don't mind Gomez and Delph sitting a little bit deeper against these because it'll be a bit more.
That's the type of game it is.
And I think Andre Gomez can do well against these because they'll give him that little bit of space. Physically, he can match up with them. And then it's the key areas for me will come from Luca Dean, and I'd play Sidibe. I know he'll expose us a bit, and they might be able to get in.
Then you might be able to cover.
Then you've got a bit of cover. So listen,
he's not step on the toes that show you do.
No, because I haven't decided. I'm just saying this is what he could be.
It's very on brand.
But what you have to do with that is you have to ask them questions. I think if we go into it and sit back and go, let's try not to lose, they'll take us apart because we'll ultimately, by giving them so much respect, we'll give them opportunities, and like you said, they'll take.
We've seen that a couple of weeks ago when last week wasn't it in the Champions League they won 5-0. They got into an early lead, then got a second, and then the team couldn't live with them because they laid down. We can't afford to do that, and I don't if there's anything at the moment that the fans want to see, it is that heart, it is that belief, it is that idea of being together. I think certainly against Watford in the first half, that lack of drive and that lack of perceived passion. There's nothing more that gets to you as a fan of when you're not doing well, is not seeing the players sort of working hard and having a tempo about them. And I think if we came out Sunday and we had the right goal, alright, listen, the result, if they're a good side, we know they're a good side, but if the result goes against us but people put it in, then people go, yeah, they go there, they got
that's why you want to see a side performance.
They got the tactics right, but they were just too good for us on the day. You know, last year we got beat 6-2, but it was horrendous. But after, you know, I went out for a couple of drinks after, right near Christmas, wasn't it? And you just thought to yourself, they were the best team we've played this season. And you know what?
They were the best team all season, Goodison.
Stupidly, what we did was we tried to hang in with them, whereas we probably should have gone full Allardyce and just shut up shop. And
when it went 4-1,
that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Or whatever, we should have just sat back then and gone, like, you're not scoring again.
Exactly, we're not embarrassing
ourselves. And then
ourselves.
we might get a second or.
But that's been Marco Silva's story in England, whereas if he does lose a game 4, it goes to 5, it goes to 6, and I think it's just his way, really. I don't think that's what I'm not going to get back on the manager, but that's what I was wondering, whether he would do that in certain games, just get back to basics, not have Dean and Stevie go as high, try and just not lose a game.
Do we admire that in him? That
no.
Yes and no. I agree with what you're saying.
He just kind of goes, well,
I'd like a manager who sticks to his principles, but 13, 14 months on,
if they're
struggling to see it.
If they're the same principles that get you 4-0 wins against teams that are down at the bottom of the league, then that's fine. But when you've just been had off by most of those teams, you can't say that, can you?
No,
it's not like, you know, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. It's just like we die by the sword every week. No matter what, no matter who we play.
David Moyes lends his penknife.
The big thing about Sunday is it's an opportunity for 3 points. We're playing them at the time and they're probably at their most fragile.
That'll be 3 wins out of 4.
Well, there you go. But that's the no. But what you have to look at is the opportunities there is these over the last, you just mentioned it, and probably since Pochettino took over, this is probably the most fragile they've been coming to Goodison.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Right, so there's an opportunity there for a victory. If Everton were to beat Tottenham and move on to 13 points, the way results will have felt, they'll be a bit closer to the top half. Like you just said, Ped, that'd be 3 omens on the run at Goodison. We'd have won a couple of 2 out the last 3 league games. We'd have won. We go to Southampton, who are bang average at best. Feeling positive, you know, they'll have probably lost again at City at the weekend, so we'd go there in a positive spin. It's a big ask, no matter how bad Spurs are. It's a big ask because we've got no level of consistency.
Because coming up to that international break, you know, after the Southampton game, that's when I think that's the time when
if you are going to change your manager, you gear up to that, and the Spurs just also go, I think, well, the performance, maybe not the result, will go some way to decide and some of that.
Well, hang on, if we beat them, we go above them. So we shouldn't be scared of them.
No. But I'm saying if we get beat, if the performance shows signs that we're getting there, then maybe you might last after the international break. But it's put up a short time.
For me, I'm in the boat, and I've defended them for as long as I can remember, but I'm in the thing where we can't afford to lose Sunday. In my opinion, he cannot lose that game Sunday.
That's very difficult. Do you know what?
I don't even think they're that good at the moment.
No, I don't. But
Watford should have been out of sight against them at the weekend.
I look at them, and maybe I've just got haunted memories of recent years past where they've just mauled us. But
well, we don't play. I think we've beat them about 3 or 4 times at Goodison in the Premier League era. There's been loads and loads of draws.
It's just a game you never think that you're going to win.
No. But all that being said,
they are weak.
To me, the fragile mentally at the moment. There's unrest behind the scenes. You can see that by watching them. Like you said, I think they've lost 18 games in 2019, which is a hell of a lot.
Well, with a team like that, Pochettino was so tactically clever in his first couple of years, where they wouldn't lose games very easily. Yeah, it's a bit of a change, isn't it?
So it represents an opportunity to get above them. Beat them and get above them. But the one thing he has to do for me is not lose the game. If he loses the game, he's in massive trouble, I think.
Well, you're looking at, you're getting towards that Koeman territory, aren't you?
He'd have lost 7 out of 11 games. He'd have, you know.
And the recruitment's not to blame this time, let's be honest.
So that's my opinion anyway.
There you go.
I don't do predictions anymore.
We'll find out on Sunday.
It's an opportunity to win. I'm not sitting here thinking we won't beat these.
If we play a certain way, we can win.
It's an opportunity.
Play a certain way,
you've got to dig in. You've got to dig in and get Try and get something out of the game.
Most
Got to
definitely.
dig in and get something and do what.
Show the fans that you.
Yeah, get some passion. Get set your team out. It's 11 men versus 11 men.
They're not. They're not
Sorry, they've got
invincible.
12 because the referees are clearly.
Martin Atkinson.
13 with the man in the box in Milton Keynes.
Martin Atkinson, and you've got who's in the box? It was someone else.
To bring in It's
Kalina Lee Mason.
Did you see that there was a wind?
And Dermot Gallagher are in the Milton Keynes business park.
Clive Thomas is making the cups of teas.
He's brown bread.
Not on Red Watch.
He's brown bread.
Is he?
I don't know. Uriah Rennie? Anyone?
Did he ever longest?
Yeah, what? He was alright, ref actually. Referee game.
You're just naming refs.
Clattenburg. Bring him back for a couple of...
Jeff Winter is in the box on Sunday.
It's just his face on VAR because he loved that, wouldn't he?
Stop giving me nightmares.
Clattenburg, he was baldy one week and had a full head of hair, didn't it?
Antonio Conte.
Fair play to
him. There we go. I mean, just leave it there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've gone from spares to hair transplants.
Spares to hair.
And you never know, Shank Tosin might get the winner.
Baby.
Get that spray out. I'm sure it's all real.
Let's just leave it there. Let's move on. Let's finish there. There you go. Thank you for listening to the podcast. It'll be back next week.
Hopefully with a more positive tone.
If you want a video version of this, you can find it on Patreon.
Should we lead them to cliffhanger?
What like?
What's the cliffhanger?
Did Everton win against Spurs?
And
William Shatner's not on the show.
They won't be able to know that because they'll be listening before the game.
Yeah.
I think that's correct.
Go.
On that note, that's
there you go. Let's go. Let's just
Goodbye,
go.
people.
Thanks for listening.
See you later.
See you later.
Live long and prosper.